Let's turn these 3 DreamWorks movies into horror. Starting with Puss in Boots. First, I'm cutting out Puss from this image, and of course we need the wolf too, so let's cut him out and remove the title on his coat. Now that we got the wolf standing here menacingly, he needs weapons. So I'm warping the sickle around the cat's neck and importing another one, but it can't just be floating here. So let's cut out the wolf's hand from another image and place it on the handle. With the characters out of the way, I can rebuild the background with these 3D buildings and the mountain underneath. I'm gonna make them dark and blue and import a starry sky. Obviously, we need some shadows beneath the sickle, but also behind the cat. And I'm making the wolf's eyes glow menacingly. Anyways, the cat is gonna need to be a little more scared. So let's erase his pupils and draw new, smaller ones.
Nice job, team.
I guess we can also paint some eye bags, and more importantly, some tomato sauce. Coming out of his nose and mouth, but also on the sickle. But this whole thing is a little too bright. So I'm color grading it and even applying a camera raw filter. And while we're in camera raw, let's mask the wolf's eyes and make them glow.
Nice.
The only thing missing now is the title, but the original isn't fitting anymore. So I'm renaming it Death in Boots, The Last Breath. But tell me in the comments what you would have named it. Our next poster is Trolls. So there's this scene where Poppy goes into the forest, but what if the plants weren't so inoffensive? Let's start things off with this frame from the movie that I'll make really big to fit our poster. I'm gonna cut out the plant's mouth using Object Selection tool and refine the selection around the hairy parts. I got this 3D carnivorous plant and I'll cut out its tongue to replace the original. And of course I need to puppet warp it in place. But I can't stand working with a background like this, so we need to import a new one. I'm actually pretty sad that the eyes are out of the frame, but thankfully I can give it new ones by cutting this out, duplicating it, and making them both green. But I'll map the color correction on the irises so that the color matches the tongue. Eyes don't usually float in the air, so let me draw some green lines, apply the texture of the eyes onto them, and paint some You might have noticed that there's a bit of a bump in the tongue, and that's because it's perfect for holding Poppy. I got this image from the movie and I'm gonna use select subject to... I guess I'm gonna cut her out using the pen tool. Part of her hair is missing, but thankfully we can give her a hair transplant using another image. And I'm gonna use the stamp tool to erase the branch on her hand and her foot. Now we can puppet warp her so that the tongue grabbed her by the ankle. And if you're enjoying the video so far, maybe consider subscribing, because we're really close to 100,000 subscribers. Poppy looks a little too confident, so let's paint some fear into her eyes. The thing is, if I sewed those teeth, I wouldn't be so worried. And I'm no dentist, but I'm gonna perform a little surgery by stealing the teeth from this 3D model and color matching them to the original. I do think it could be scarier with a little bit of tomato sauce on these teeth. And speaking of scary, I do think this should be happening at night. So I'm applying hue and saturation over all of the layers.
Nice job, team.
Now we just need a title and a camera filter. And honestly, I just didn't have any idea what to rename this movie, so please help me in the comments. Our final poster is Shrek. And that should be pretty easy considering how he looks. First off, I'm gonna paint the background a dark green, and I'll import and cut out Shrek using select subject. But we're gonna need to get rid of his arm, because I have other plans for it. Let's cut out this arm manually. Then puppet warp it before realizing the angle doesn't work. Thankfully, I can fix that by rotating the arm, masking it, and adding a shadow. But we're still missing our the donkey, and I found this photo of him with the perfect expression on his face that I can easily cut out. The problem is, trying to position him properly with Shrek is a real pain. But after that, I'm cutting out his neck in order to slide the arm underneath, which probably gives you guys a good idea of what we're trying to do. The colors on the donkey are really off though, so let me fix that using color balance.
Nice.
I'm still not happy with how Shrek arm is looking, which means it probably needs some puppet warping again. But even after giving the donkey a lower body, there still is something off about the arm. So I'm gonna erase his hand and then cut out the brand new one, but it's missing the thumb, so I'm stealing it from the original and then color matching the entire hand to the original skin tone. That was a lot of efforts for one small detail, but I do think it makes a huge difference. Tell me what you think in the comments. Now we're gonna need some nice contact shadows for this whole thing to look a lot more realistic. In animated movies, when someone is choking, they usually become purple. So to recreate that, I'm gonna use a brush with the blending mode set to multiply and paint purple all over the donkey's forehead. But of course, we need to erase it from the eyes and paint some blood vessels instead. I think it's finally time for some tomato sauce coming out of his mouth, and why not on Shrek's arms as well. But I do think Shrek could look a little more scary, and I happen to find these Halloween teas online that we're gonna be able to fit in his mouth just like this. Now we need to mask it, paint some shadows, and give it some color balance to really blend it in with the rest. Now it's time for a title, but honestly I do think we can keep Shrek because it's already creepy enough. I'm just making it red, and I kinda want the background to match the title, so I'm painting a dark red, adding some backlight, and even color matching our characters using hue and saturation. But it really feels like something is missing. Maybe a knife in Shrek's hand will look a little scarier.
Stop it. Get some help.
So this is the horror version of Shrek. If you enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you're gonna love seeing me make Pixar movie posters into horror in that one.